Hello everyone, I'm Chris and this is a weapon class showcase where I will compare all weapons of one class with each other so that you know what weapon you want to use on your build. This time we'll take a look at the Twinblades. So we have to compare in the Twinblade class the Twinblade, the Stone Twinblade, the Dragonrider Twinblade, the Red Iron Twinblade, the Curved Twinblade, and the Sorcerer's Twinblade. Let's get started with the stat comparison. At the attack rating, the Red Iron Twinblade has the best attack rating with 340 pure physical damage. After that there is the Dragonrider Twinblade with 185 physical and 110 magic damage at +5. The Sorcerer's Twinblade is after that with 100 magic damage and 100 dark damage, fully upgraded of course. After that there's the Stone Twinblade with 180 physical damage. Then comes the Curved Twinblade with 170 physical damage plus 40 bleed damage, and after that there's the Twinblade with 150 physical damage. The counter damage. Every Twinblade has a counter damage of 120 except of the Curved Twinblade, which has counter damage of 110. The Poise Damage. The Red Iron Twinblade has the highest Poise Damage, which is 30, and the Sorcerer's Twinblade has the lowest Poise Damage, which is 15. All other Twinblades have a Poise Damage of 25. The durability. The Red Iron Twinblade has the highest durability, which is 175. The Twinblade has 150 durability points. The Curved Twinblade has 125. The Stone Twinblade and the Dragonrider Twinblade have 120 durability, and the Sorcerer's Twinblade has only 100 durability. The weight. The Twinblade has the best weight, which is only 8 units. The Stone Twinblade has already 10 units, like the Sorcerer's Twinblade and the Curved Twinblade. After that there is the Red Iron Twinblade which has 14 weight points, and after that there is the Dragonrider Twinblade which has 18 weight. So now let's actually look at the scalings and the requirements and what builds can be used to build this. The normal Twinblade has a C and C scaling in strength and dexterity and a requirement of 14 and 26. So you may use this on a dexterity build because it has the lowest strength requirement of all Twinblades, but it's really not the best scaling, so you can use this at whatever you want when it has high dex. The Stone Twinblade has an A and D scaling and a requirement of 18 and 22 in strength and dex. So you may use this on a quality build because it has a bit of dex requirements as all Twinblades have, but still an A scaling in strength, so it's a good weapon for a quality build. The Dragonrider Twinblade has a D, C and a D scaling in strength, a C scaling in dexterity and a C scaling in magic. So with a requirement of 20 in strength and 22 in dexterity, it is really an int based weapon with a bit of strength and dexterity. The Red Iron Twinblade has only an A scaling in strength and a requirement of 26 strength and 20 dexterity, so you may use this on a strength build with a bit of dexterity, which would make it a especially high level build. Then the Curved Twinblade, which has an E scaling in strength and B in dexterity and 16 requirement in strength and 20 in dexterity. So you will use this especially on a dex build because low requirement in strength, the lowest, almost the lowest in all Twinblades, and really high dex scaling, so you may use this on a dex build. The Sorcerer's Twinblade has an E and an E scaling in both strength and dexterity, so almost no scalings, and requires 20 strength, 30 dexterity, 20 intelligence, and 20 faith. So you can really choose on what build you want to use this. I will say it right now, you really don't want to use this thing. Really, we get later to it, but use the Dragonrider Twinblade instead on an int build or on an hex build. So let's actually move to the pros and cons of the weapons. First, the pros and cons of, in general, the weapon class Twinblades. The first pro would be that it hits very often with the roll attack one-handed, with the two-handed R1s, and also the R2 follow-up attack hits 2 times, so it hits very often. This leads to a good stunlock ability, good bleed and poison build up, which becomes useful in these cases. Also buffs become really useful if you buff a Twinblade up, and the guard breaks become really easy to perform because you're hitting multiple times on a shield on the opponent, so guard breaks with a spam are really easy to do. Also the Twinblades have, the Twinblade moveset has different move speeds. You know, those slow R1s one-handed and the fast triggering two-handed R1. They are really good to mix it up a bit. Also the jump attacks and so on. You can really mix up good and do some good combos with it. Another pro would be that the moveset really looks fancy as balls, which is good for me because I'm a fashion soloist. And you really want to use this if you want to have style points. But don't use the red Iron Twinblade because that's just silly. Also, the last pro of this weapon class in general are that, especially for me, the one-handed movesets of the normal Twinblade movesets, not the red Iron Twinblade moveset, are awesome to bait parries in. I use this on my 100 sub special to lure the opponents into parries. Just perform a one-handed R1, you can chain into a parry real quick and it's really good one-handed R1s. So good to do that if you know how to parry. So let's move to the cons of the weapon class. One con would be that they are really easy to parry if you are not chaining it up a bit. So if you only go for the multiple hits, the one-handed roll attack and the two-handed R1s and spam a bit, you're gonna get parried by better players. So you may take this into consideration that you don't get parried that easily. Also the Twinblades have in general mostly low damage output in comparison to other greatswords or other bigger weapons, and also in fact really low critical damage. So a Twinblade critical damage is really not that good. You may swap to a dagger or something else. And the last con in general is that they don't have that high reach, so you can't outrange someone, and you really have to get close to them to really hit them and stagger them for a bit. So the normal Twinblade is a really good weapon. It is, to go to the pros, it is the lightest of all Twinblades, and it has the lowest strength requirements, which makes it good for use in low levels and in low level PvP, or if you want to min-max a bit. It has the good Twinblade moveset, which all Twinblades have except of the red Iron Twinblade, and it is fashion. It is really fashion souls, in my opinion. And also the last pro is that it's really easy to get. So you can pick it up in the Lost Bastille real early in the game, so you don't have to search for it. The cons would be it has the lowest damage output of all Twinblades and a really low scaling. It has almost no scaling, so it may not be useful later in the game and at higher tier PvP, but to start with, it's a good Twinblade weapon. The Stone Twinblade. The pros are it has a really high damage, especially compared to the normal Twinblade. It has the same moveset and around the same reach, but it is very much more damaging. It has also the good Twinblade moveset and it has an awesome strength scaling, so if you want to do high level PvP with a Twinblade, then this becomes in handy. It is also not a really heavy Twinblade, which makes it good for keeping it in your inventory to change up your fighting style a bit. To move to the cons, it has a really weird requirements for his scaling, because it has a requirement of 18 strength and 22 dexterity, but it has an A scaling in strength and only D in dexterity, so you only want to have strength, but it requires 22 dexterity to wield, so it's a bit bad to begin with. Bit confusing how this works together. Also a big con is that you really have to farm after it. It is a rare drop from the horse-headed guys in the King's Passage in Dragonrider Castle, so you may farm a bit there. The Dragonrider Twinblade. It has a really good damage output because it has split damage, and the magic split damage makes it really good for fighting against higher armor, where physical damage is not that useful. It also takes use of the sorcery clutching, so if you want to max out the damage with the Dragonrider Twinblade, you can use Ring of Blades, the Flint's Ring and the Sorcery Clutch Ring, so you have 3 rings where you can really maximize the damage with it. It also has the good Twinblade moveset, and it has a really good poison infusion. So if you infuse that thing with poison, the inscaling actually increases, and that leads to still a really good damage output and poison triggering with the good Twinblade moveset. So you may take into consideration to infuse this with poison. Also, to the cons, it needs petrified dragon bones to upgrade, which sucks. Yeah, it is a boss weapon, but it's never used by any boss in the game. But you have to upgrade it with petrified dragon bones, so you may farm a bit for that, or leave it be completely. Also, it has the highest weight of all Twinblade weapons, so it's really only usable as a main weapon and not something that you can keep in the inventory to change it up, because it weighs 18 units and that is really heavy. I mean, some greatswords, some ultra greatswords are lighter than this, I think. So the red Iron Twinblade obviously has many pros, because, like you may all know, many people use that thing. The first pro would be that it has a different moveset in comparison to the other Twinblades. If you see a Twinblade, you normally know what moveset it has, but the red Iron Twinblade, it really changes up with other weapon class movesets. It has the Helmet movesets, Spin to Win. At the follow-up 200 R2, it has the running attack of the Scythe class weapon, and it has a Twinblade in it. So that is something good to begin with. It also has a high strength scaling, which makes it good for higher level PvP. It has the highest durability of all Twinblades, which really makes it good for PvE usage. And yeah, the red Iron Twinblade also has a really ridiculously high damage output, like we all may know. Its combo 200R1 combo can really take 3/4 of your health. So that is just ridiculous. It has also the highest Poise Damage, so you can mess around with that a bit and take the Stone Ring to increase the Poise Damage even more, so no one can block this shit. The cons would be that it is quite heavy for a Twinblade. It's the second heaviest Twinblade of all. It has the slowest moveset of the Twinblades, and so it is really easy to avoid the moves of it just roll out, and it's not gonna reach you because the Twinblades have a low reach in general. So it's easy to counter with higher reaching weapons like a Reaper class weapon or something. Also, the biggest con is it's overused as balls. Every scrub uses it and it is quite OP. So please don't use that thing. Just don't. The curved Twinblade has the good Twinblade moveset, and it has the highest dex scaling of all Twinblades. So if you want to do a dex build with Twinblades, you may consider going for this thing, because the damage is not the lowest. It is also good if you infuse it with bleed, and since it has a standard bleed damage of 40, and if you infuse it with bleed and take all bleed items like the Crest of Blood and the Shadow Gauntlets and things, you can really trigger the bleed really fast, so that is something you can go for. But for these few pros are many cons, because this is the hardest to get hardest Twinblade to get. You have to go to New Game Plus and talk to Chancellor Welliger to get it, or you can get in rank 1 of the Brotherhood of Blood Covenant to be able to receive it, which is nothing I can ever do because I suck in the arena against these people. But yeah. Also, the bleed damage, if you can even trigger it, because it's really hard to trigger, it's not really useful. We all know bleed does a bit of extra damage when it triggers, and it halves the stamina, which can fuck up your opponent a bit, but it's not really as useful as poison or other things. The curved Twinblade also has not the best damage output of all Twinblades. It's not really good, and it has the lowest counter strength, which also lowers the overall damage output at hits a bit sometimes. Also, this Twinblade has a really low durability, which makes it really unusable for PvP, for PvE, and at PvP you may use the durability ring, bracing knuckle ring thing. It's also the shortest Twinblade. It doesn't also have the highest damage, and it's the shortest Twinblade, so yeah. And in addition to that, it needs Twinkling to upgrade it. Yay, we all like to find Twinkling not. So you really don't want to use that. If you have a dex build, just take the Stone Twinblade or the normal Twinblade and infuse it with Raw to get higher damage output, but don't use that shit. No, please, no, don't use it. It's useless. The Sorcerer's Twinblade. You can cast sorceries with the R2 of it, one-handed and two-handed. But in addition to that, you can still maintain the two-handed Twinblade moveset with when you press L2 when you two-hand it, you can perform the Twinblade moveset still. So that's really cool what they did there. And the Sorcerer's Twinblade also has a low weight. When you power stance that thing, it has a warped sword moveset, so the double spin, and which is kinda strange but fun to use, of course. Also, because of the splitted damage in magic and dark, you can use the sorcery and the dark clutch ring to maximize the damage, which is also cool. And you have pure magic and dark damage, which eats through all armor like everything, like nothing. It's if you have a Hevel guy, you do really high damage with that, because heavy armor most times don't have that high magic and dark resistances. But there are also a lot of cons to this. It only casts sorceries and not hexes, this is also bad because it requires actually 20 faith to use, and if you want to only cast sorceries with that Twinblade, you still need 20 faith, and that's actually really senseless to do, because faith doesn't do anything at your sorceries. And since you can't use hexes and can't profit of the faith scaling at all, it's really bad to do. The Sorcerer's Twinblade also has almost no scalings, which is of course always bad, and you need a high dex requirement to use this. You need 30 dex, and which caster has 30 dex? So it's really bad. It also has only a casting speed of 100, which is basically almost the lowest, and it's really better if you just swap to a staff or a catalyst to do sorceries and hexes. It's faster and it's not that hard to do. Swap your weapons mid-fight, so you don't want to use this for casting only. Also, a con is that it has the lowest durability of all Twinblades, really bad, and it has the lowest poise damage, so you can't stagger people quite good. So, in addition to that, it is a DLC item. You can get this in the Crown of the Ivory King DLC, so you actually have to buy it for real money. So not everyone is able to use this as vanilla weapon in a normal game. So in the end, the Sorcerer's Twinblade is neither good for doing damage or good for casting spells, so you just don't use that, I think. If you have any reasons why you should use that, then write it down in the comments below. I'm always up for that. So now let's actually get to the medals that I have. In my showcases I always give 3 medals, which would be the fashion medal for the most fashion salesy weapon of the weapon class. Then I give the Dishonour medal of weapons that are extremely scrubby to use and are just cheap. And I give the best medal, I don't know how I call it right now, basically for the overall best weapon to use in this weapon class. So let's get started. The fashion medal goes to the Twinblade. I basically love this Twinblade. It looks just fancy. You see that golden thing, and you can pair it with the Ladia gauntlets, which have the same color palette, which makes it really fashion salesy. So take this into consideration if you choose your weapon. Then the Dishonour medal goes to the Red Iron Twinblade. Surprise! Who would have thought it? I think I don't have to explain why. Every scrub uses it. We all were wrecked by this thing, and it's just stupid. Then I give the best medal, and the best medal goes to unfortunately also the Red Iron Twinblade, because it's just overall the best Twinblade. It has by far the highest damage output, a good moveset, and it's just good, but scrubby. So, yes. Alright, that wraps it up for this weapon class showcase. I hope you enjoyed it all, and if you have something to add to my pros and cons, or to my stats, or some fightings or builds that use Twinblades, then just write it down in the comments. I will add this to the video description, what you guys will also write there. And yeah, subscribe to my channel to be updated for more weapon class showcases, and I hope to see you all in the next video.